So I don't got an intro. I don't got anything to start out with. To just jump into it, I'm gonna just jump into it. I had this whole reintroduction thing planned out. I had a plan, and well, it's nice to be a man with a plan, but a lot of plans don't go according to your step by step. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever had a plan that you followed from step 1, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 or whatever, and perfectly, good for you. That's never happened over here. I've never necessarily heard of it happening, and every time I ever seen a plan try to be worked out, unexpected things happen. And I guess this ain't really an unexpected thing. It's kind of like, well, I guess I didn't plan on this. I didn't plan on just trying to put effort into something and just, you know what, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do something else totally different. That wasn't the plan, but it happens. It happens. Like I said, I had the whole reintroduction kind of thing planned out. You know, nobody knows who I am really anyway, so there's that. But generally speaking, the content on my channel has been random and very varied. There's definitely some interesting things on there, things that possibly sound bad or look bad, are bad, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna hold you, it might be, and that's why I kind of felt like doing like a reintroduction kind of thing, because generally speaking, I want to move to a different part of my life, a more serious part, I guess. And no, I have no idea how to do that. And actually, to tell you the truth, I talked to a friend about this, I want to say like almost 2 weeks ago now, and we're just now here. You know what I mean? We're just now here. We're just now giving it a shot, and I don't even know if I'm gonna keep any of this. Incredible, right? Don't know. I guess that's the power of the magic and the power of editing. We'll see what stays and what doesn't. If this is, you know, anyways. But on my channel says my name. My name is Zane West. You know, I think I'm a pretty cool guy. It's not what I'm. That's not what we're here for. But I guess what I want to get across is, at this point, that, you know, I'm not just a gamer, and I'm not just I don't know. I don't know. I'm not just a gamer. That's the best I could say. I haven't shown anything other than that. A lot of people could probably know me for other things like crap talker, rage baiter, man child, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Like, I do like to play around. I do like to, you know, joke around. There's a lot of things I have, like, in the span of the last 5 years, learned to take more seriously. And, you know, there's that. Like, when it comes to my upbringing, I think it's a pretty interesting one, but that's also not why we're here. I just kind of wanted to expunge upon the shift in what I'm gonna be doing now. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing now, actually. It's magic. Incredible, right? I will say this. I had the thought a while ago, like about a week ago. I wanted to maybe use this as a opportunity for, well, a platform, but not just a platform for me to, for people to grow, but for me to grow. Because, you know, once you go ahead and put your thoughts out there, you know, you put your voice out there and your ideas, and, you know, people can criticize them and judge them and, you know, give their own opinions as they should. You know, you might just say something, or inevitably will say something, no matter how much you educate yourself or how much you plan, or etc., etc. Say something stupid. I don't necessarily think I'm gonna ever say anything stupid. Maybe I've said something stupid to you already at this point. But that's besides the point. And part of the reason why I don't think I'd ever say anything stupid is because I like to leave room to be wrong. You know what I mean? That sounds like I didn't leave any room to be wrong right there, right? But let's say I am wrong. I can admit that. I can admit that. That's okay. That's okay. I've been wrong before. I don't care. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I could put my ideas out there, other people hear them, you know, educate me. You know what I mean? Let me know. Like, if I was wrong, or maybe you thought what I said was right, etc., etc. Let me know. You know, we could talk about it here together. Like I said, I want this to kind of be like a platform for people who come across it to grow, but also it could be an experience for me. Like, cause, you know, I do my own thing. I like to watch a lot of podcast type stuff. Recently, I could tell you right now, there's like 3 people I've been watching a lot of lately, and I'm gonna say the first one, and I really hate, a part of me really hates bringing it up, but, you know, it's the truth. And, you know, that's Charlie Kirk and Philip Anthony Mitchell and Marcus Rogers. Don't know if anybody knows any of those people. They're great people, should check them out. But yeah, that's what I've been getting in tune with, I guess you could say. Yeah. So, and a lot of it would be for their Christian ideas, or Christian ideals, I should say. You know, I've been on a spiritual journey, I feel like, for the last 5 odd years or so. So there's that. Crazily enough, like, you know, I've grown up in a Christian household. Never really thought twice about it. I feel like in my particular scenario, I've always been around it, always experienced it, but it wasn't a part of me. It wasn't something I did. It's just something I got to benefit from. I got to benefit so much from it. And I want to say for the majority of my life, for probably the last, I don't want to say I abused it or took advantage of it, but, you know, I did what kids did. I do what kids do, and, you know, that's just, it's kind of like they do that. But, you know, if this is what you've known for, you know, your entire life, is what you know, like, as far as you're concerned, life is supposed to be like this. And, you know, like, the last 5 years, life has been an experience for me that I'm glad I got the experience. It's not been hard by any means. Don't get me wrong. It's not been hard. It's been some interesting things for sure. It's a lot of things, good, bad, or whatever. It's interesting. There's been a lot of interesting things. I appreciate the last 5 years for sure. So, and it's moved me away from God. It's moved me closer to God. It's moved me far away from God. It's moved me back a little bit closer. Like, you know what I mean? And I guess that's an interesting thing to talk about. Like, what is it to be far and close from God? You know, and I want to say, I want to put it like this. Like, if I were out on my own, I would not be that close to God, because currently, right now, I don't have enough God in my life. I don't seek God enough in my life. I'm not sure. I don't got the best relationship. It's not non-existent by any means, because, like, you know, I'm very aware of it, to the point where it's like, I know I'm good, but I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not like I necessarily feel horrible about it, but it's like I find it so hard sometimes to give God his time. And I guess that's the part that, you know, the kid in me is still trying to, like, get used to, whatever you want to call it. Because, you know, for the majority of my life, like, I have lived sort of however I wanted. And I never, for the last 18 years, I'm not going to say I did the best things, but I didn't do a lot of the things I had done in the last 5 years, is all I'm going to say. But, yeah, I got to do whatever I wanted. And, you know, whether my circumstances are anybody else's circumstances, you could always do whatever you want, generally speaking. So, and I just never really cared about how I think I should, like, living up to a certain standard or ideal, or, you know, trying to be better per se. Like, who cares about being better? Like, it's I feel like it's an interesting thing, because I feel like at some point in, like, the last couple years, like, it was, you know, self-improvement was a thing, and, you know, being better this, being better that, doing better, like, and, you know, that's very alive still for some people, I feel. But generally speaking, when I talk to people, see people, you know, it shows, like, people could really care less about doing better. Especially, and I'm guilty of this too, like, you know, giving people good advice and not following through on it. Terrible. It's a terrible feeling, is what I'm saying, because, you know, and it's even worse when it's like you got people telling you, whether this be yourself or somebody else, are thinking about the right thing to do and saying they're gonna do it, and you just don't do it. Like, you know, it's terrible. It's very terrible. And it, you know, it just it sets a bad precedent, and not just for yourself, but that'd probably be the most important thing. But it sets a bad precedent for, you know, anybody involved with you. You know, I would hate that if I was generally known for saying I'm gonna do something and not do it. Like, you know, people not having faith in me, kind of thing. Like, I'm not reliable. You know what I mean? You can't count on me. You know what I mean? Like, that would be terrible. Generally, that hasn't been me, as far as I could tell, except for when it comes to the work world, the workforce, and that's been mostly true for probably the last 3 years, 4 years or so. I want to say last 3 for real. yeah, I could care less, or I'm not gonna say I could care less, or I didn't care, but I was doing a lot of things, and I was kind of hopping from job to job to job, and not really taking it serious. And well, now I'm at a point where it's like it was easier to get a job when I had no experience, but now it's like all of a sudden it's hard to get a job now, and I want to say to some degree I'm like blacklisted, like known as like a bad egg throughout the company sphere. I don't know if that exists or not, or if I don't know. That's what I kind of want to say, but from what I'm seeing or been seeing, it's hard for a lot of people to get a job, and that would probably be one more motivator for all of this, is to not replace an income sort of thing. It would be nice if that happened, but I want to say, if not having a job has shown me anything, it is how much worse I could be. Like, growing up, oh goodness gracious, who needs a job? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't need a job to feel okay. I don't need to be doing anything except what I want to do to feel okay. But as I've gotten closer to God, it's like, well, doing the things I want to do get me farther from God. And, I should probably be doing more of what, I don't know if you would want to say like what God expects of me, or I'm not sure how you would want to put that, how I would want to put it, but I guess doing more of what's right instead of what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, when you give that advice isn't based on what you want to do, versus it's based on more of what you need to do. And a lot of the times the motivations for doing the things that we need to do are purely so we can do the things we want to do. And I experienced a lot of that with my first job. Like, that's a lot of the reason why I was job hopping, so I could keep doing the things I wanted to do. And for some reason, I didn't necessarily want to do it at those particular places for one reason or another. They weren't good reasons, they weren't the best reasons, but you don't need a good or bad reason to do anything. You don't. But yeah, that's what I would say is, as I've grown, it's more about doing not what I want. I don't even want to do what I want to do, generally speaking. Like, half the time I know that it's a fight with myself sometimes. Like, my body, the flesh, it is working against me. And I guess how I would try to put it now is, instead of doing what I want to do or doing what God expects me to do, it would be more of not doing what my flesh wants me to do, and doing more my bad. I'm talking, and I'm also looking at the game. Instead of doing what I want to do, or doing more of what God expects me to do less of what the flesh wants me to do, and more of what the spirit compels me to do. And when I say spirit, I guess what I'm getting at is, well, the Holy Spirit. But what is the Holy Spirit? I couldn't give you a biblical answer to that. But I don't know. I don't know. And I feel like I mostly get this from my grandmother. And I say that because I don't see a lot of people with it per se. Like, generally the people I speak to are kind of, or have spoken to, just in general, like, you know, it's been a couple people out there that, you know, they just want to help people, you know, and it's not because they want something out of it, but it's just because they can help. You know what I mean? Just taking care of one another, you know, loving thy neighbor. I want to say the Holy Spirit, but I guess I can't give you a biblical definition, really. Like, that's one thing I got to get better at, is reading my Bible, etc., etc. But, and I'll probably get into this a little bit later too, because I have read the Bible, bits and pieces, a couple chapters here and there. The only thing I can say I've read 98% of the way through is Exodus. Like, I think I'm probably missing like the last probably like 5 chapters or so, something like that. I've read bits and pieces of the last chapters because of things I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, Exodus is pretty much the only thing I ever read all the way through, mostly. And other than that, like, it's been like a couple chapters here and there, some verses, etc., etc. I'm not really big into my Bible, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I feel like that gives me interesting perspective to come at things, because I've definitely tried to do life using my brain. I definitely have thought through all types of other ways to try to do life without God, and interesting enough, every time I got deeper into those things, they were stupid without God, if that makes sense. Like, these things were so amazing and awesome and interesting until it's like, this just doesn't work without God. Just like life, life as we know it doesn't work without God. But, you know, we still try to go through it, you know, without giving God his time and without acknowledging him or giving him his credit. But somehow we still want credit for the things we may or may not have had any type of part in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting things like that. Like, I could care less about recognition for the most part. Like, I'm not gonna say I completely don't care. Like, you know, of course, you know, of course. But I could generally care less. Like, I don't care if you know my name. But let's say I say something that helps you when you needed it, or because a lot of the times, like, with my friends, like, personally, like, let's say I know we got similar interests, like, you dang near don't gotta tell me or ask me for help. I will just tell you, like, if I know we're both interested in it, like, I'm just saying it, like, you know, like, not like, sometimes I definitely can in like an annoying way, sort of thing, but I do my best to just kind of like, on some cool stuff, just like, yeah, you know, have you tried this? Did you know about this? Or did you notice this, kind of thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so cool that we could do this and that, you know, stuff like that. Because, you know, I play games, and, you know, sometimes updates, you know, changes, and sequels, prequels, and, you know, all that good stuff. But, you know, yeah. So I could care less about recognition for the most part, but if I could help, I will do my best to do that. And I want to say that's because of the Holy Spirit. And I gotta be careful, because I do rant, and this is actually going on longer than I thought it would go on. This is way past the introduction. I've gone into a whole explanation of my life story and this, that, and the third. And yeah, I gotta be careful because I am also known for to the people who have listened to my rants to forget what the heck I was talking about. But that's I gotta be careful about that. But yeah, and I don't want to get on here and necessarily preach per se, but I want to talk about the things that matter to me. And God is something that matters to me. And for a while, it's always been something in the back of my mind versus something I've shown or talked about or really expressed. And I was like that for a while anyways. Like, I never used to really give my opinion on anything, and I'm sure a lot of people wish I'd go back to that. I sometimes wish I would. Like, that's not me trying to say anything in particular. It's like, sometimes I wish I could just not care about some things, like, but that's not me. It's not. Like, I care about doing better for myself. I care about people I know, people I don't know, strangers, friends, family, etc. It don't matter to be able to do better. Like, if I could help, I'll help. Like, I don't necessarily care what it is. If I could help, I'll help. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. Like, I can't necessarily see me, and to some degree I've done this before, but I can't necessarily see me being able to help and not helping. But sometimes I get like, I'm human too, and sometimes I haven't always done the best things. Like I'm saying, like, like it's a process, and I'm definitely trying. But like, if I could help, I'm trying to do my best to help. You know what I mean? So, like I was saying, I feel like that kind of comes from the Spirit and the Holy Spirit specifically. And I don't think a lot of people listen to that. I don't think a lot of people care about that. And that's something that I care about. That, I wish more people did. I wish people cared about each other. You know what I mean? Like, is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? You know what I mean? But not even just about each other, because check it, if you care about God and you try to put more God in your life and start putting God in all the things that you do, this is just what I heard, but I know, oh my bad. This is just what I heard, but I know it to be true. Okay? And not just because I read the Bible, or not just because I heard it from somebody, just from my experience. This is just from my experience. I know it to be true that if you put God in all the things you do, life would be better for everybody, for you and the people around you. Like, that's, and I'm not even gonna get into the whole thing right now about what God you believe in, whether it's the Christian God, whether it's the Muslim God, whether it's the Indian God, whether it's the Asian God, whether I'm not gonna get into that. But as I said, like, I'm Christian, but I guess at the heart of what I'm getting at is, you should ultimately not be trying to, and this might sound like a little like robotic-y or even like anti-choice or whatever like that, but you know, this is definitely still a choice. Not doing what you want to do all the time. Like, you got the free will to do whatever you want. And I feel like people kind of abuse that. And I'm not saying people shouldn't have it. I'm saying you should try to better control yourself, basically. Hold yourself to a better standard. And a lot of the reasons why I say these things is because it's not all about you. Like, it might be your life. It's not all about you though. It's not all about me or any particular body. I will say, especially for, you know, the ones that care, a lot of the men, like, we're role models, okay? Like, we're supposed to be. And what are we really showing the people around us? Or better yet, what are we showing the ones that are coming after us? You know what I mean? Like, that would be the biggest reason why I ever made a change in my life in the first place. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, when I was 17, I want to say 17, 16, something like that, I was over 500 pounds. Crazily enough. Well, that's crazy. But another crazy thing, I'm almost right back there. I'm like 100 pounds off kind of thing. But that's not good for a lot of reasons. But one of the biggest reasons why I changed that wasn't necessarily to show anybody anything better per se, but my sister, she had just had her kids, and well, I felt like if I didn't change something, I wasn't gonna even, like, I wouldn't even think about me having kids. I didn't really care about anything like that, to be honest with you. But I know I cared about being there and being healthy and being able to play with them and have fun and, you know, experience life with them. And, you know, now I'm getting back to the point where it's like, sure, I'm thinking about them, but not just them, just, you know, people, I guess, like, you know, my own family. Like, I want to be able to stand for something better. I want to be a better role model. I want to, you know, show people something better. And it's kind of hard to talk about it and try to show people something that you're not living. So yeah, changes have to be made. And I have worked on it, but I'll say this, I haven't worked on it more than I've thought about it. And I've thought about a lot of things. And I can't really say anything other than I'm trying to be done procrastinating. I'm trying to be done spinning my wheels. I'm trying to be, moving on. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be moving on. And I feel like this would be one way I could do it. And maybe it'll be less of this ranting and more something focused. But that's another thing. I don't necessarily know what I want to do specifically. I don't want to be a preacher. Even though I seem to have a knack for it, at least when it comes to long-winded speeches. I don't want to get into politics, even though, you know, I got some opinions about it. But truth be told, I'm a truth seeker, and you can't go through life without being involved in those things to some degree, like, at least when it comes to society. And that's another thing. Like, growing up, I've been a hermit for the last 18 years for a reason, not because I had to be, but because I absolutely wanted to be. Like I think I was like 4 years old, maybe 5, when I was sitting in the back seat of my mom's car, and I was just thinking, I don't like this. Like I don't. And not that I don't like. Not that I didn't like living. I didn't like people. I didn't like the world. Like, you know what I mean? And I didn't really never think too much about it after that. I just, like, you know, I'd rather just be by myself. I'd rather not get involved as much as possible. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't want to, you know, definitely didn't want to be changed by it. And that's another thing I could say. These last 5 years, like, being tested and tried by the world. Like I've you know, I dibbled and dabbled. Because I've never done it before, and there's been some good things and there's been some bad things. Ultimately, you know, the things of the world are not gonna be best for you. Is you know, I could give my stamp of approval, endorsement on that. Like that's experience has told me that is a fact, that ultimately the things of the world will not be good for you. Like they can, like, God and the world could mix a little, but you know, you definitely want to be putting God first and finding God in the places of the world, and not just taking part in everything, because it's not all hunky dory. You know what I mean? That was probably some corny stuff to say, but hey, you know, it's whatever. But yeah. So I don't want to get into all that good stuff, but you know, it's gonna be something. I don't know. Like I said, it's supposed to be like a reintroduction per se, and you know, I've never actually really taken YouTube seriously. I've just kind of did whatever, and I've gotten some interesting results. Like I shared this one thing that I thought was like super duper cool at the time, until they actually made it like a mechanic in the game, which is also pretty interesting. And it's like a 3-second clip, but I think it's like my most viewed video on YouTube. Well, yeah, video on YouTube, but it's like it was a short before shorts, which is crazy. Like, I was ahead of my time, man. I was ahead of my time. I peaked like 5 years ago, like 6-7 years ago, whenever I made that. But yeah, so there's that. Never really taking it serious, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna take it serious now, but I'm gonna go ahead and close off on this. And I don't know, maybe some of this will be here, maybe none of this will be here. I don't know. Like, maybe I should just get over it and put it out there, except for that one part that, yeah, you guys are not gonna hear, because I was stumbling and fumbling, and it took me a second to find the ball and pick it back up again. But yeah, maybe I just, you know, because like I said, this is definitely supposed to be not just an opportunity for, or me helping people, but also opportunity for me to help myself by, you know, being subject to criticism and, you know, other people's opinions. And, you know, because people love to share them online to, like, goodness great, like, me too. Like, you know, I say a lot of things you might never hear me say, whether it be justified or absolutely ridiculous or et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, that's another thing I've been kind of working on too, and I'm definitely have to work more on, and that's presentation. Like, you know, and that kind of brings me back to what I was kind of saying earlier, and it's not what God necessarily expects of me. That's not what I want to necessarily do, like whatever I believe God expects me to do, but doing more of the things that the Spirit compels me to do. And, you know, I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus, and I think, because if I look at Jesus as like the ultimate example, the ideal role model, something that everyone should try to be more like, that I should represent that better. And like I said, growing up, I was always around it per se, so I've taken in some of it. But if I were by myself, I don't got enough Bible in me. I don't got enough word in me. I don't got enough spirit in me to really do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would be worse off for sure. So yeah, and we're to the end of the video clip now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it off on this, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, thanks for listening. If you listen to all 41 plus minutes of this, Jesus, jeez Louise, and we're gonna end it right there. And maybe hopefully I'll be back sooner with some more focused topics, and not just I guess you could call it. I feel like it's a little lazy, but at the same time, it's like, I tried. Like, I'm trying. I'm doing. It took a lot to get to this point. I'm not gonna lie to you. It took a lot to get to this point. So yeah, I appreciate it, and hope I do better. And if you got anything to say, please come and say it. It's all welcome, good, bad, whatever. That's what I'm here for generally. Like, you could even say this is even a little bit selfish. Like, this could ultimately all be more for me than it is for anybody else, but we're gonna see what we could do. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully I could be a good representation of what God's people should be, and actually be of some use to people. If you're not useful to people, I guess you're useless. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and or listening. Because I don't know, let's see, we're watching. Like, that's another thing too. Like, just let me know. I get a let's play going or something. We can get it cracking. Just let me know. So this is a little bit prior to the editing, and yeah, that's not really important. But I just wanted to ask, what do y'all actually care about? Because I'm not even just doing this for me, like I said. So what would you guys like to know? What do y'all want to talk? What kind of questions do y'all have about I don't know, God or life, or all that stuff? And that also gives me a reason to jump into that Bible, and not even just for me, but for other people. Like this could be an opportunity for any and everybody here, but it's only gonna be that if I can provide the proper platform, and that's what I'm trying my best here to do, because it's not just about me. And I think I could sit here and talk about all the things that I care about, and I definitely will get to that. But most importantly, I would like to know what y'all care about. What do y'all think needs to change? What do y'all think needs an improvement? What do y'all think needs to be talked about more? Like, what matters to you? Like, if nobody's ever asked, like, what do you want? What I mean? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do is your business. I suggest you figure it out. But like, I don't care. Ask, like, see what we could do. Like, might even see that some of y'all want some of the same things, and I hope that this turn into a prosperous, community here. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in before I forgot, or So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. This video is way longer than it should have been, in my opinion. But like I said, it's like a reintroduction, and this is probably like the most rawest version I could give of myself. That's not just not. I don't even know how to explain. I've been a certain way on the game for a long time, and it's not been serious. Like I said, you go back and you can see all the other crap. It's been a lot of effing around going on. I don't know any way to say it. Like it's been a lot of effing around going on, and I'm just trying to show something better, stand for something better, etc., etc. You get it or you don't, and yeah. So, like I said, that's the question I wanted to leave everybody on is, what do you actually want to see? Like, what do you want to change in the world? Or what would you like to hear more about, per se? Like, what do you think needs to be talked about more? And, yeah, if you would, let me know. Let me know. And, yeah, that's it. So, until next time, peace.